Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HP Podcast, episode number 371. I'm Ben, and with me here today are the beautiful boys, Dave and Brandon. Now, Brandon, right before we started, you were talking about something. Would you care to elaborate for the audience, or was that just for Dave and I's ears to hear?
No, yeah, I was talking about cock and ball torture, and I wish not to elaborate any further.
Okay.
I'll let the audience play with the idea of that by itself, and you can extrapolate whatever you'd like from it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Both the discussion of it, the offer to discuss more with other people, and the offer to not keep going. I'm pretty sure if in like the first 5 minutes of your video you mention those words, you get a strike or something. But I asked for it technically.
Is
so-
YouTube kink shaming me? Because that's actually kind of fucked up.
I don't think they're kink shaming you specifically. I think they're kink shaming everyone.
And that's what I'm saying is messed up. I'm gonna copyright strike YouTube.
Dude, what if you could just like pull an Uno card, reverse it on them?
You're like, I'm demonetizing you, YouTube.
How's it going, Brandon? Your hair is looking very fluffy today.
Good, man. Yeah, real good. I feel very fluffy today. I had an insanely productive day. I'm feeling like $1 million. I had Chipotle. There's a new sauce, boys. Do we know about the new sauce?
We don't. I don't really go to Chipotle very often, so. In
sauce.
fairness, it's not Chipotle necessarily, although our local Chipotle has not proven itself loyal to me. I don't go anywhere. I don't leave my house very often. So
Fair enough. It's a cilantro lime sauce.
Ooh.
Oh my god! And the dude loaded it up with what was probably a lot of sauce for even a reasonable person. And I looked him right in the eyes and like, dude, can I get a little bit more?
He looked
And,
at you. He looked at you and he looked you up and down and said, "This is not a reasonable human being. He's getting a stupid amount of cilantro lime sauce."
He's like, you just want a straw, buddy, or you want like a cup? But no, yeah, me and my lady, dude, exactly. You laugh, but you know, stranger things have happened. And they will likely happen again. Me and my lady got some nice dinner, got some nice guac. I don't always get guac at Chipotle, guys. They charge extra, and I love it, and it's delicious. But most of the time, I don't shell out for it. But you know, when I'm with my lady, we got to go all out.
yeah, there's nothing like saying let's go out for a fancy dinner and hitting Chipotle and getting the extra sauce. Like that's where it's at.
Dude, fast cash, brother.
Yeah.
Fast cash. We didn't exactly have time for Ruth Chris tonight, or I would have obliged.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We were like in a very tight margin. I think we had like about an hour from the time of us leaving to this podcast starting. So, you know, sacrifices were made.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to for the love of the game, right?
Yeah. But I'm great. I'm doing so good. My day was so fucking productive. I feel amazing.
Explain to me in Brandon terms, and I don't mean that as a slight, I'm just asking in Brandon terms, what does that mean? What is a productive day?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I put some of the Christmas stuff away that I still haven't put away.
Okay.
Finally, after months of it sitting in my one corner room that doesn't have really anything in it. So I put that away. I did dishes for like probably an hour, and that included me not only doing the dishes that were in the sink, but new pots and pans and a brand new knife set that I got for Christmas that I hadn't washed yet. I threw away a bunch of old food, not only in my cupboards, but in my fridge. I vacuumed, I cleaned the toilet, I cleaned the sink, I cleaned the kitchen sink, I cleaned the bathroom mirror. I took the trash out.
Yeah. This sounds like a great day.
And I also was here for an internet service man today. So all in all, we got a lot done today.
Dave, we'll get to you in a minute, but I have to keep probing on Brandon here for a minute. Ooh. Brandon, let's give the audience a backstory. You've had this not great internet service for a long time. Dustin and I, the moment we had fiber available from a different provider, switched to it. We've been begging for fiber for years. At the time, I was uploading a lot of stuff. I still do that to some extent. Dustin does the same thing with his job. We also wanted like mega speed for gaming and everything else. So we upgraded immediately. You stuck with the old standby, the old true blue local internet company. And now just recently they sent you a message that basically said, if you don't upgrade, we're shutting off your internet.
Correct.
What decision did you make? Was it to stay with the existing dinosaur and upgrade to their less capable fiber service, or did you go to a different internet service?
What do you think?
I think you stayed with the old dinosaur.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just easier. And with a life filled with trials and tribulations and things that bother me and things that I have to do, sometimes you take the things that make less sense because you just don't want to fuck with it. Kind of like how we talked about last week or the week before about you changing your oil. You choose to pay extra for the luxury of not doing this. I choose to not think about it and stick with the same thing that I've always had.
Yeah, but there is a slight difference. If I knew that by getting my oil changed by someone other than me was going to result in a worse product that I would be less happy with and, destroy my experience with my car, I wouldn't do that. I would do it myself. So similarly, if I were to know that a internet company has been historically not great and not reliable, I wouldn't choose to stay with them because it's easier. I would choose to move on.
I feel like we're bending the truth just a
No,
little
the
bit.
metaphor breaks down, Brandon.
No. The internet company, the local internet company is not awful, Ben. Is the price higher? Yes. Did it take them longer to get fiber? Yes. But
Is it as fast?
in the city we live in, I got one up, one down, so I'm happy. That's all I need.
Sure.
And so, in fact, where we're at specifically is the most reliable that this internet company probably their footprint spreads across a couple states.
Yeah.
We're probably in the most reliable area that exists for this company.
This is true. A bowl of shit flavored like strawberries is still shit. So,
Well, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't teach it to drink.
that's true. I don't think the phrase is you can't teach it to drink. It's you can't make it drink.
Well,
You could teach it to
maybe that's why it didn't. Maybe it doesn't know how to drink, and that's the
Dude,
problem.
You know what my takeaway from this is Brandon is the best Call of Duty player I know. And knowing that he's been doing it all these years on basically dial-up is pretty impressive. So,
In fairness, it hasn't been dial-up. It's been a decent speed, but not great, and not reliable.
that's still pretty impressive.
It is reliable, and the speed has been fine.
I
I'm just
had
that
the
good.
same
I could
internet.
play.
I've had the same internet you had, and it was not reliable or fine. But hey, maybe that was just my personal experience, and also 90% of the other people in our town.
Well, I mean, maybe because I used to work there, I just get the extra special shit. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Maybe they're like, this guy fucks.
I don't think they valued you when you were there or after you left.
didn't you get fired?
No, I didn't. I quit on my own terms. My own terms where they fired me. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't
good to have you back.
necessarily. Here's the thing, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
In good faith, your argument is in good faith and has very many good points. But also, it doesn't matter to me. And so, I don't need it to make sense because it makes sense to me.
Okay, I have one more question about this.
I'm ready.
What's your bill per month?
It's like 100 bones, I think.
Just for internet?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So that's about $25 more than mine. I have 8 gig. You have 1 gig. So technically, you are throwing away about $300 a year. Just because you feel like it.
Well, thanks, Dave Ramsey. I appreciate all the help. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Dave,
like to-
hello. You seem very distraught by the fact that our internet is about $100. Why is that insane? Do they subsidize it in Canada? Is it part of your government package?
Apparently, I pay $50 a month.
For what, though?
for
You have
fiber.
really bad internet.
No, I have better internet than I did before, and I'm paying less than I did. So $100 US, that would be like $130 Canadian, and I'm paying 50.
Yeah.
So, and like that's not uncommon.
Sure.
I mean, a lot of the big providers, Rogers and Bell, they try to bundle you with cable and home phone and cell phone and stuff, but just for basic internet, it's not uncommon to find $50-$60 Canadian. So that's what?
Yeah.
$30-$40 US. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
could
100 sounds like a lot to me.
I could get $30-$40 internet here. It just wouldn't be my preference for
Dude,
my desires.
All of my bills are almost $100, except for like my big ones, like my electric, my water, my gas. They're all almost $100.
Like what? What other bills are $100? I'm just curious.
All the things I just mentioned.
I thought you said other than your water and your electric.
No. Those included are all about $100 every single time.
Oh yeah, okay.
Altogether,
No, individually.
so $100 for water, $100 for electricity.
Give or take, if you average them all out, and they
Kinda-
fluctuate, but yes.
What kind of electricity do you guys get down there?
I don't know what that means.
Hydro? What generates your electricity in Western
Coal.
Pennsylvania?
Coal?
Seriously?
I'm sure it does. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Southern Ontario is all hydro, so
I would guarantee you it's coal where we live.
What is that expensive or cheap for you, Dave?
$100 a month for electricity.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a
There
very old
also
home
may be
too.
some variance here in usage. Like I have 2 kids who leave lights on all the time.
Like your April bill and your November bill are pretty good compared to your January bill and your July bill, right?
Technically, actually, my January bill is so I have a boiler
Uh-huh.
which uses hot water, so my gas is high during the winter months.
I'm
And then I
you've
don't
got the
have
basement
central.
from Home Alone with the scary
Yeah.
machine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The
And
burglar.
I don't have central air. I do have some window units that I use because it's an old 1800s house. So I don't have high electricity for air conditioning, but
Do you guys use natural gas in your houses?
that's what heats the boiler. Yeah.
Yeah. So like our ovens and, well, not everybody's ovens, some electric ovens, but ovens, some like dryers run off of gas. That's not as common. Hot water heaters.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Riveting stuff here for
I don't really care what the audience wants anymore. This is my show, our show. We do what we want.
I'd love this as a homeowner. It's like
Yep.
comparing this
Yeah,
shit.
it's awesome, man.
Talking to somebody in a different country, and you use coal and I use hydroelectric, and we might get nuclear soon. So, yeah.
No. The Canadians cannot have that.
No, we
Canadians
can't, let
cannot
the,
have that.
we can't let the Canadians
The
have
Canadians
nuclear
cannot
power.
have that.
No.
You got to go through Papa for that. You got to go through Papa for that.
Dave, how has life been for you other than finding the startling realization that you pay less for things that we pay more for?
It's my socialized internet. It's good. Yeah, just nothing to complain about. Had a nice Easter weekend with the family. Did a little Easter egg hunt with my 2.5-year-old, and she was pretty good at it. She found all 10 eggs pretty quickly.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like a little side quest, you know.
Did she get the platinum?
She did. Got
Holy
2
shit.
platinums in this household
Holy
this
shit.
weekend. Spoiler alert.
Holy shit.
Yeah, can't complain. Good to see you both. Good to see you, Brandon. I hope you had a nice birthday with Alec.
It was good, man. Yeah, I had a great birthday week. Very busy. Very busy.
Well, this is the HP podcast. We talk about homeowner problems and finances, as well as video games from time to time. You can check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/handsomephantom, where you can contribute as little as $1 a month to help us pay for our apparently overpriced American internet and also support the show. You can get ad-free early access to the show with Patreon if you are an audio listener. We're also live every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube if you want to hang out with us here. Also, hang out with us on Discord at handsomephantom.com/Discord. We love you. We want to hang out with you. Boys, shall we talk about some video games?
Absolutely.
First news story. Sony Interactive Entertainment acquires Cinemersive Labs. This is from SonyInteractive.com blog. At SIE, the company behind the PlayStation brand, we are continually exploring new ways to push the boundaries of visual computing and deliver richer, more immersive gameplay experiences. Today, we're pleased to announce that SIE has entered into an agreement to acquire Cinemersive Labs, a UK-based machine learning and computer vision company. Founded in 2022, Cinemersive Labs brings together a specialized team with deep expertise in computer vision and machine learning. Following the acquisition, the Cinemersive Labs will join SIE's visual computing group and contribute to our broader efforts in advancing state-of-the-art visual computing within games. This includes applying machine learning to enhance gameplay visuals, improve rendering techniques, and unlock new levels of visual fidelity for players. We look forward to welcoming the Cinemersive Labs team to SIE and continuing to make PlayStation the best place to play. Dave, Cinemersive Labs. Never heard of them before. Seems like they got a lot going on. What do you think of this acquisition?
Can you go to Brandon first, please?
Brandon, I would like to ask you the same question.
So yeah, I mean, this has to be another a shitty take by Hermie. I just like to blame him for everything,
Sure.
even if he's not directly related. I think this is bad. Honestly, as a whole, I'm very skeptical on any sort of AI being driven too deeply into these things, and we just saw this huge blowout about the DLSS 5 upgrades with the machine learning and how much controversy was surrounding that. I think that Sony continues to prove to me that they don't know what they're doing and what to invest in. They seem kind of tone deaf a little bit. I'm not saying that this couldn't push the medium forward in some good ways, but I think the problem with AI is most of these companies view it as not a way to increase the end product, it's a way to cut cost. And so I want to have faith that this is something that's good. I don't know much about this company. I just looked at what they've done. And yeah, who the fuck knows who this is? You know what I mean? Did anybody know who this was until they were acquired? I don't know. So, I didn't. No one I knew did, as far as I know. So, yeah, I mean, I want to be hopeful for this sort of thing, but Sony leadership has continued to disappoint me and prove that they've lack vision in some areas other than cash grab scenarios that are not fully thought through. So I hope this is another one of them. I don't want them to continue to take L's as a whole because they are a company that I like and a company that is good for the industry that we're in. Competition is good, but yeah, to see that a company is buying up a machine learning company, especially after that DLSS stuff, that's kind of what my mind goes to initially, is that. And I still haven't quite figured out how I feel about it. We'll see how it ends up being implemented in games, this DLSS 5 stuff, because I think that the showcase will be different than the end product for some of these cases. But yeah, I don't know. This is kind of just a nothing sandwich. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's another one of the Sony things where they buy somebody and then in a year it says that they're shutting down. Because that's what they keep doing. They keep buying things and then never announcing anything from a studio that you've never heard of. Maybe it has one person that you know that heads it, and then they shut it down. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like this doesn't mean much to me, but I tend to have a negative connotation with this sort of thing generally. So
I would say of all the things that are likely to get shut down, a tech company was probably the least likely as opposed to a studio. But I do understand what you're saying for sure. Let me ask you this. If they had bought, this is crazy, if they had bought NVIDIA, who is known for things like DLSS and frame generation, yes, they make hardware, but really at their core, they're a AI-driven graphics company that enhance graphics. That's kind of how I see this Cinemersive Labs being. How would you have felt about that?
I mean, that is a good point, Ben. If they really are bringing them in to kind of get somebody who's in the field of this sort of thing and maybe to upgrade PSSR, PISR, as I like to refer to it as.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could see it be in that direction. I just know that once this ball starts rolling, I feel like it's very easy for these companies to see how far they can push this sort of thing, as I've said, for cost savings. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume it's for something like that. And that is a fair point, like I said. But yeah, I don't know. I tend to just be, whatever the fuck this company name is.
Cinemersive Labs.
Yeah, is different than NVIDIA. Yeah, it's just so much different. You know what I mean? Right. And I know you said it's a bad example, and I'm not, but
I don't remember saying that.
Well, I said it.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they're one-to-one by any means, but I was just wondering about the overall idea of, because yes, NVIDIA does make hardware. We know them from graphics cards and stuff like that, but at their core, what's driving a lot of those graphics cards decisions is AI, is volumetric immersive 3D experiences within software. So, Dave, how do you feel about? Are you ready? By the way, is it okay if I ask you the question now?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about this new acquisition from SIE?
Looking at Cinemersive's Cinemersive Labs portfolio. They seem to be kind of an AI VR focused company. Like if you look at their front page, they seem to have some sort of tech that will take a static 2D image and put like a VR esque illusion on it. And the first place my mind went was maybe because VR turned out to be a lot more niche than Sony had hoped, that they want to continue to invest in it, but in a very economical way. And if they were to acquire the tech of a company who can make it so Sony can continue to develop and support the hardware in PSVR 2, then this is probably a good business sensical way to do it. So that's kind of where it came off to me. The next place my mind went is all the games as a service stuff has started to fail, so they've started to reinvest a little bit more in Gen AI, where they can continue to focus on putting out good content, whether it be VR or traditional gaming, but in a more cheap way, where Gen AI can be used for, I don't know, texture generation and character models and level assets and that kind of stuff using just a couple of text prompts. But looking at Cinemersive's portfolio, like I just see VR stuff, so that would also make sense to me too. But I don't know. It's gonna get harder and harder for us to pick out AI, especially if it's being done behind our back. I remember when I was reading this article, I thought back to the Duke Nukem remaster, and that was 2 years ago. And I think how easy it was to spot it then versus now, there's a noticeable difference between, the mistakes that Gen AI was making then versus now. And it's just going to get better and better to a point where we're not even going to notice it. So it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. But yeah, I suspect that Sony is using this to kind of ensure that they can kind of keep the VR train going, even though it's not making as much of a splash as they probably thought it would.
Cinemersive Labs is joining the VCG, the Visual Computing Group at SIE. It was formed in 2024 from the merger of the iSize team with parts of the SIE game platform Artificial Intelligence Group. This created a large team of R&D engineers with unique technical skills in neural networks, video coding, quality assessment, generative models, game rendering, and high-performance computing. Recent examples of the work include the first approach for perceptual video compression with neural wrapping, improving bitrate efficiency of state-of-the-art codecs by around 20%, state-of-the-art no-reference metrics for image quality assessment, foundation models for perceptual similarity assessment, generative models for photorealistic neural avatars that avoid uncanny valley problems, novel ways to combine streaming and VR rendering or neural rendering and streaming, extensive outreach to academia and research collaboration programs with top-tier universities around the world, and a lot more.
Okay, so gobbledygook.
I understood a lot of it, but I didn't realize it was. Yeah,
I'm fucking with you. Yeah. I understood a lot of it too. It's just
so I think you're probably on something, Dave.
Buzzword.
You're probably on to something, Dave, with the VR focus. Although I don't know, it just doesn't feel to me like Sony's going to continue and like acquiring companies to go into VR. But I think that where VR and AI and visual computing, all that kind of stuff intersect, they want more brains in the room that have a lot more experience. And I looked at their website too to see the portfolio stuff they have there, and I'm like, well, surely this isn't what Sony bought. So there must be something else they're doing. They're behind the scenes working on something, or they've developed some sort of tech or something that Sony's interested in. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is what they're hiring them to make iPhone apps for making your friend look cool while they dance. I don't know. It's an interesting move. I think what we can say for sure is that they're trying to continue to push the medium of the visuals of their games and their software. Whether we like the direction that ends up going or not is a different story. But machine learning, computer vision, all stuff like that, it's all here to stay, and hopefully it will become something we don't notice because it's so good, rather than a distraction like it is now in a lot of cases. Anything further, boys? Cool.
Freaking clankers, dude.
I saw this one earlier this week, or late last week, maybe. I think it was earlier this week, and thought, oh boy. GameSpot. Limited run seemingly throws old guard under the bus, promising no future delays after delaying multiple things again. It says limited run has been no stranger to online controversy between allegations of using cheap recordable media in place of pressed CDs for certain games, a lawsuit for alleged violations of privacy, and severely delayed collector's editions arriving with questionable quality control. Things have been messy for the Embracer Group-owned boutique physical games publisher for quite some time. However, with the recent departure of former CEO Josh Fairhurst, it appears that the new management is scrambling to make amends with customers and subtly trashing the old management in the process. One of the most common complaints around limited run games involves delays. Buyers have come to expect delays of months, if not years, on many projects, though many still grumble online whenever the dreaded release date change email comes from LRG and hits their inbox. On Friday, many customers with outstanding pre-orders from LRG received a mass email from the company. After notifying the customers that their pre-order has been delayed and notably not naming specific products, the email continues by saying that they will be working to provide more accurate release dates going forward. And they said, in quote, as we continue this transition of growth and transparency here at LRG, our new leadership has taken a hard look at our in-progress releases, and it's clear we've set some delivery dates that were too aggressive. We were overly optimistic, and we've disappointed you in the form of delays and uncertainty. We're resetting that standard. Going forward, the date is the date, and it's a date you should be able to believe when placing an order with us. While the wording is polite, what it spells out is clear. The old crew was promising release dates they couldn't hit, and from now on, all customers will be seeing a more realistic ship date when they look at a limited run games pre-order page. I've never ordered anything from limited run games myself. I've ordered stuff from companies like them who've done other stuff. It's not that I necessarily have ever, I've not objected to ordering something from LRG. It's just, I don't order a lot of stuff like this, and the stuff I have ordered just hasn't been from them. But do either of you guys have experience directly with LRG? We've got a lot of friends that have. They've not been good experiences.
Yeah.
And the industry or the world at wide would not agree to that. My company has some professional dealings with them that I can't really go into or not, but I know that there have been, as they've stated here publicly, a lot of issues with hitting target dates and everything. Brandon, go ahead. You seem like you want to jump on it.
Yeah, I kind of think there's a more tactful way to not downplay your company, even if it was the old guard. I think that coming forward and saying you're committed to making a change generally and not framing it in the way it's a matter of framing for me. Because regardless if it was the old guard or not, I feel like that is kind of shitty.
Yeah.
And kind of displacing the blame a little bit. I doubt that every single person in limited run games is gone and there's a complete, you know what I mean? Like if that were the case, I would say, okay, maybe. But the reality is it's kind of like shifting blame, I feel like a little bit.
Well, think about it this way. It's like when you see a store or a restaurant and they have a sign up that says under new management.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily saying every server who worked here was garbage and they're still here, by the way. They're saying if you saw quality control issues before, the bosses are different now. I don't disagree with you, but I think framing it in that way of a local mom and pop shop that says under new management is a little different.
Yeah,
well.
I agree with you partially, but I also think that this is is uniquely different in the way that it's much larger. But yeah, I don't know. I just find this to be kind of weird. I don't disagree that a change needed to be made. Our friend Dustin has had a lot of negative experiences when purchasing from limited run, namely the incredible delays. It's just something you kind of expected going into it. And if you weren't in the know, you just had to wait, and at least if you were in the know, you knew that it was something that you were just like, I'll get it when I get it. But for the other people, it's obviously disappointing, especially if there was quality control issues. But in this statement, did they mention the quality issues? Because they mentioned a lot about.
No, I don't think they mentioned. Limited Run specifically didn't mention anything about the quality stuff.
See, because that's even more concerning to me. To me, And in this GameSpot article, there is an embedded tweet here about somebody that paid $200 for a Sonic, and bless them, there's obviously other problems going on here, but bless them. But they didn't like the quality of their figure, and for people buying these special editions, nothing would be more disappointing, late or not. I would rather the product be better. So the fact that they didn't mention anything about the standards or the quality control being increased is kind of concerning to me. I guess you can maybe assume or extrapolate that new management will take new things into consideration and that, shipping won't be. But I feel like it was something that was notable and they should have at least mentioned in this as well. So overall, kind of long-winded, but I think that it's kind of weird the way they frame this, regardless to me. And I really do wish they would have mentioned something about the quality control, because for me personally, I care way less about it taking a year to get something, even if I'm excited. If it comes and it's amazing because I paid $200 for it, I'm happy I have it. Does it suck? Yes. But moreover, what matters to me more than anything is the people that are spending good money on this stuff for them to get a good product. And the timely shipping is obviously good too, but kind of takes a backseat to that issue in my mind. So,
Davey, it feels like this wouldn't really stand in almost any other industry, but for some reason, I guess it's because we have such limited rights within video games that it's been able to continue for so long.
That's such
People
a limited
still keep
run.
choosing. Yeah, people still keep choosing limited run for their delivery, even with quality and timing problems. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe this is a little bit of an oversimplification, but how they fuck up as much as they do, considering they have one job, is pretty crazy to me. So, and I've been really intrigued by Limited Run and some of the products they offer over the past many years, but just haven't been able to pull the trigger on anything because of the shit surrounding them. So I can just imagine how much money they've lost with their bad reputation. And I would have fully expected any headline about them to be Limited Run Games is shutting down. But the fact that this is the case, we're talking about them under new management and them being very honest and transparent about their past and where they plan to go. Contrary to what Brandon's kind of view on it, I love this. I love when companies are honest. I love when they're blunt. I love when they're they kind of put their necks out there. And I think this is a really good approach. Yeah, it sucks that they kind of had to delay everything again, but hopefully this is the final reset for them, because I think what Limited Run Games is attempting to do and what they stand for is really cool. I think, from a preservationist standpoint, it's excellent. I think from, getting indie games on physical media where those indie developers otherwise wouldn't have had the resources to produce physical media is cool. That helps with exposure. And I just think for, an industry that's going more and more digital, I really like that Limited Run has kind of carved out that niche where it's like, when you have something that's going more digital, there's an opportunity there where people want to hang on to physical. So I think what they stand for is really cool, but the execution has just been so shit for so long. And there's been other things surrounding this company that have not been good, aside from poor execution and not delivering what the customer wants. So for them to come out, keep the name of the company, hopefully retain a lot of the employees, but just be straight up and say, we're resetting, we got to do better, I think is really, really, really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing improvement from them, because I'd like to be a customer. I really would. So yeah, this is promising, I think.
Yeah.
And I think I think the potential for them is only going to continue to grow. They got to get their heads out of their asses and deliver a quality product on time. So,
David, I want to say you do bring up a good point, but I feel like companies usually feign honesty. And that's where I'm coming from, is I feel like companies, oh, we did so bad. Like, we'll see what actually happens, right? I want you to be right. This is a company that had an estimated revenue of 20.8 million. So like they're not small by any means. And Ben's right. We wouldn't stand for this for many other companies. So why we're standing for it for this is beyond me. But I hope you're right, Dave. But I feel like a lot of times these companies come out and say things because it sounds good and they want the public perception to shift. But what they actually do moving forward will make all the difference, because we've seen in many facets of our lives anymore that these companies often try and get in good graces, and then what they actually do is sometimes very different. So we'll see. I want to be wrong.
Well, I want to address that real quick. I think you're right. But I think that the one big thing that none of us have picked up on yet until just now, nowhere in this message did they say our quality is going to be better and you're going to get it faster. They just said we're going to give you realistic dates. So you still have to wait 3 years for the shitty thing to arrive at your house that you paid too much money for, but we're going to tell you when it's actually going to be there now. And to me, it would have been nice if they had come out and been like, hey, we've done bad in the past. We're going to give you realistic dates. Also, things are going to get there faster, and they're not going to suck when they get to you. That would have really, if they could fulfill that. But I do agree with Dave for the most part that I much prefer companies being like, hey, we've had problems, we're going to fix them. It would just be nice if there were like 2 more steps to this statement, in my opinion.
And to the restaurant example, like in most cases, as you know, Ben, with where a restaurant gets new management, they just change the name. They buy all the equipment, everything's the same, but they change the name to kind of portray a different image. But I like that LRG is going in this, we're going to live with our past and we're going to fix things. So I think it's a cool approach. Them being owned by Embracer is interesting too, because this kind of seems like a PR move from a much more independent company, but they're not that. They have a parent company, so that makes it all the more impressive. So again, I'm not being naive, but I hope this kind of comes out in the positive, because as I said, I want to buy stuff from them.
Yeah. Moving on. IGN says it looks like Steam will soon use frame rate data gathered by its millions of users to estimate how well a game will run. Let me just read this whole thing. It looks like Steam will soon use frame rate data gathered by its millions of users to estimate how well a game will actually run on your PC. That's the headline. Somebody at IGN, I'm not knocking anybody at IGN, but somebody at IGN said, you know what? This is a great headline for an article. A sentence and a half. I don't know. It just feels off to me.
Yeah, that's not really a title. That's kind of like a thought.
That's like the first part of a paragraph, right? Anyway, Valve already collects a lot of data about your gaming PC, typically to release its hardware survey every month. But it looks like Steam will soon use frame rate data gathered by its millions of users to estimate how well a game will actually run on your rig. This all started about a month ago when a SteamOS beta started collecting performance information. But now a user on Resetera has spotted a string in the latest Steam update that would use that data to estimate how well a game will run on your hardware. It does not seem like this performance estimate is visibly on any actual game pages quite yet, but Steam wouldn't be the first digital PC game store to give its users this kind of estimate. Love it or hate it, the Xbox app and the Windows Store before it have been giving estimates on game performance for years now, even though the actual information it gives you is thin, to say the least. This is why when you click on a game in Game Pass, you'll get a should perform great on your device message at the top of the page. It seems like the Steam performance estimate will be much more detailed, though. From the code string found on Resetera, it looks like you'll be able to enter a CPU, a GPU, and an amount of RAM to get a rough estimate of what your performance should look like. If you're using Steam on your gaming PC, like most people do, you'll be able to see the projected performance based on whatever hardware you're already using. Valve has been collecting users' hardware configuration data for years now. Boys, I do think that it's hard to underestimate how much data Steam has about their users. They know every single computer that's using Steam. They know your hardware. They may not make that publicly available, but they know it, and they have that information in their client. By the way, if you're using an app on your phone, pretty good chance the person, if you log a ticket, the person who sees your ticket knows what phone you have. Like, it's standard in all sorts of software to do that. So Steam knows a lot of stuff, and then they can also see how well it's performing. So like, I actually think this is a huge win that Steam is saying there are 4 million other people with your same machine, and 3.5 million of them ran it perfectly. You're good to go. Like, I think that's really valuable information. What do you think, Dave? I know you're not a PC guy primarily, but
No, you know what I use just as much as Steam is a little website called canyourunnit.com.
Oh,
And spoiler alert, I can barely run it. But it sucks because every time you use it, you have to install that little exe application that kind of reads your specs. So I think this kind of crowdsourcing performance data, this is a good use of stealing my data.
yeah.
Sorry, my cat's freaking out. So yeah, I really like this. The other thing I like about this is Steam has a really good refund policy, and I think measures like this will help to solidify that policy, because if Steam is able to be more forthright with, you know, how they think one of their products will run on your machine, it will reduce the number of people who buy games, play it for an hour, and be like, this runs like shit, and have to return it. And the less times they have to do those returns, the longer they can keep this really good return policy up and running. So this is a win-win, I think, and I hope people kind of leverage this information to make more informed buying purchases on Steam. So this is just another example of Valve being really cool. And yeah, I like this. And again, as I said, I've used Can You Run It many times, and I think having a native mechanism to get that information will be useful. So I'm still potentially in the market for a Steam machine. So, you know, we'll see when that comes out, and obviously that'll be part of that. So yeah, I think this is a cool feature, and I'm glad the article shouted out that the trailblazers over at Microsoft did this first. But again, I think it's important to recognize that this will help kind of strengthen that return policy a little bit better. So yeah.
Brandon, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this is great. Valve seems to be the king of helping their users create informed decisions. We've talked extensively about how, albeit the review bombingness of some of the reviews in games, it's not a perfect system, but there is a lot of safeguards in place to help you extrapolate further information from the reviews you're reading. And this goes a step further to make informed decisions even prior to reading a review. They implemented this with reviews generally as well, where you could see the specs of the person that is writing the review. And I think this is another step even further yet, even if you're uninterested in what somebody else has to say about it, just to kind of make that decision prior to know whether or not your machine will run it well is huge, especially because most of the market, what are they saying, has like a 20 series, a vast majority, like if you average, a lot of people have...
I think 3060 is like the average right now. Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that with all of these, you know, all of these 5060s and, you know, the 40 series, the average person has a card lower than you'd probably think with how much uproar you're seeing about these brand new cards every other year.
Sure do.
Most people don't have those. The enthusiasts do, but most people can't afford it. So the fact that you're going to have a tool to look
It's
at
not
a new
just
game,
can't afford, by the way. A lot of people don't care, which is insane to me. Who cares about fidelity and frame rate and stuff like that? But
yeah.
Yeah.
But statement stands. I think this is great. Honestly, I don't even care if Steam steals my data. There are very few companies that I feel like I have faith in, and Steam proves time and time again. I'm hoping at some point we don't get the Steam files, a la the Epstein files of Steam at some point. But you know, the dark underbelly of Steam. But I don't think Gabe would do that. You know,
if anything, it's like a bunch of stories about him saving old ladies. Like that's what the game.
Yeah,
files would be.
yeah, or like working at a fish fry, you know, or something like, you know, passing out, you know, candy cigarettes to kids. Maybe that would be the most risque.
That's probably the most scandalous thing Gabe's ever done.
Yeah. So a little controversy there, but yeah, no, I think this is great. Steam keeps winning. Steam keeps winning, and it's for a good reason. It's very refreshing to see a company that continues to help its people that spend the money on their products in their storefront make good decisions. And they keep doing it again and again. I feel like 6 or 7 times a year we get some sort of good news from Steam where they've even made a small tweak like this so that is user friendly and is consumer forward, and that is refreshing.
Waffles in chat says Epstein files. um, when I
Uh,
was
no, one more thing. I'm
yeah,
sorry, Ben. User Benchmark does something like this where
yeah,
they like gather data through User Benchmark, and it's a website I really like and has helped me make informed decisions on either what I want to buy in the future or what I've bought, and whether upgrading is worth it. So I think having knowledge of this User Benchmark, I think that having something similar built in is perfect because they have all the data. So that's it.
when I was at GDC, I had like some meetings with Valve, and they also had hardware there, and the Steam frame, the Steam machine, they had some samples there they were showing off, and one of the guys who was demoing it like was holding a Steam frame and looked at me and was like, "Would you hold this for me for a second?" And I looked at him and I said, "I would die for you." And that was maybe an exaggeration, but that like I genuinely do feel like the people at Steam. I'm sure there's some bad eggs there, and there's some, but I just trust them. Like I really do. I nobody who works at Valve works there because they suck.
Right.
They all get paid a lot of money and do great work and really love their jobs. And most of them who have been working there more than a couple of years could probably just be done working if they wanted to be, if they hated their job. So maybe I'm a little overly glazing them. It's possible, but I love Valve. I think they're great.
I love Glaze.
Yeah, glaze. Next story. Twisted Voxel says that Sony CEO reveals gaming makes largest part of its entertainment revenue, once placing PlayStation to be the best place to play and publish games. Hiroki Totoki has revealed that gaming makes the largest portion of its entertainment business revenue. During a recent interview on Bloomberg's Wall Street Week, he outlined the transformation of Sony Group Corporation from a traditional consumer electronics giant into a content-driven powerhouse. The shift reflects the large changes in the global technology landscape, where differentiation in hardware has become increasingly difficult and competition has intensified, particularly from manufacturers in Korea and China. Totoki explained that Sony was effectively forced to change during a difficult period around 2013 when financial performance declined and talent began to leave the company. In response, Sony pivoted away from its historical reliance on electronics manufacturing and toward producing and owning entertainment content. This long-term strategy has paid off significantly. Around a decade ago, entertainment accounted for roughly 30% of Sony's revenue. Today, that figure has grown to more than 60%. This entertainment segment comprises gaming, music, and motion pictures. Gaming has emerged as the largest contributor. Totoki confirmed this directly, stating that gaming is the largest among Sony's core entertainment business. He said that it should be the best place to play from users' perspective and at the same time, the best place to publish, indicating Sony's focus on delivering high-quality gaming experiences for players, but also on strengthening relationships with third-party developers and publishers. Davey, Sony 30 years ago had just got into gaming, just barely cracked into it. And they're an old company. And 30 years later, it's the biggest part of their company. I'm wondering if that doesn't include hardware or if it does wrap hardware into that. But nonetheless, it is very obvious that gaming, in one way or another, is a gigantic portion of their business. And that's confirmed here. What do you think?
Yeah, they're saying all the right things. I've been concerned with Sony's direction and their strategy over the past decade or so, especially with this move into diversified content in, movies and TV shows and stuff like that. But more concerning is, as I've said many times and we've talked about on the show, is investment in a service-driven entertainment company. And I like that this article in the interview specifically called out um, being a content-driven entertainment powerhouse, because really, where Sony turned the corner over the last 13 years specifically is in content. It invested in really solid studios and really solid talent and gave us really great games. And I with the way they've wavered over the past couple of years, I really hope that they're able to refocus on what got them to where they are today. And, when the PS3 launched, times were pretty dark. But, I think Sony realized that they don't necessarily need to be on the cutting edge of technology to lead this industry to where it is today. And I know there's been some concern over, you know, maybe with older gamers such as myself, that the industry is going in a different direction where it's all about free to play, microtransactions, games as a service, battle passes, that kind of stuff. And I think the industry has grown to a point where it can accommodate more diversified revenue streams. But at the end of the day, what's moved this industry forward and made it so great for everybody is good games, really good
Yeah.
games. And those games can cost $80, $100 at launch. It doesn't matter. So I don't know. What they're saying is ringing true to me, and it sounds good. And I hope this is Sony kind of refocusing on what has made them so successful. And yeah, I don't know. I've referenced my nephews several times on the show because
Your
they're
wife's nephews.
yeah, because they're also gamers, but they're 20 years younger than me. And I look at where they're spending most of their time gaming now, and it's with God of War. It's with Uncharted. It's with Detroit Become Human. Like, this isn't changing in a way where they're only playing Minecraft or Fortnite or stuff like that. Like, those experiences are still superior to them, and I don't think they're a minority. I think they're really kind of showing that this is what makes gaming so great. So Totoki's saying some really good stuff, and I hope that you know uh, we see more um, of Sony focusing on content rather than service.
Brandon, what do you think? You're muted, by the way.
Brandon, you're muted.
You're still talking, but you're muted.
Oh, good. Yeah, this is good. That was pretty much what I said. Was what I said when I was muted. I said Dave put it very eloquently, and I didn't have much really to add to that. But I've had my complaints with Sony and the direction that they're moving, but it's very clear that the video games as a source of revenue is undoubtedly important to their business. And so I hope they continue to make informed decisions and not these informed decisions they've been making. I want them to start thinking outside of the box that they're in, whenever that is, because the industry as a whole changed after Fortnite. And I feel like we're slowly starting to see the fallout from that. And I hope that we come out better in the end. Everyone's trying to chase a bag when you should just be trying to chase quality. And the bag follows. And that's what these companies lose sight of is, you don't make something because of the idea. You make something good, and then the money follows. So Western companies, yeah, Eastern companies, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Agreed. It's time to talk about what we have been playing. Who wants to start?
I can go.
Brandon.
So I've been playing more Marathon. Marathon's awesome. I fucking love it. Don't have anything profound to say. They're continuing to update it. I've done some of the higher tier stuff. I haven't done the Cryo Archive, which is a event that only comes around on the weekends. I've been working. So maybe here in the next couple of weeks I'll be able to check that out. You need to be very geared for that, and that's very high level Destiny raid type shit. It looks really, really cool. But I've done some of the more puzzle heavy things more recently on the more intense maps, and it's a lot of fun and very rewarding. Stings extra when you die. But yeah, it's great. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I don't care what anybody on the internet says about it. It's fantastic. Player numbers be damned. Honestly, I'm kind of tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of the player numbers. As much as I love Steam charts, part of me wishes they were just gone forever.
Can I just say something? I think player count discourse is now my new least favorite discourse ever.
Yeah.
I was on Summon Sign this week, and in the sorted out segment, my sorted out was about player count discourse. So
Yeah.
we're all on the same page. It sounds
Yeah,
like.
I'm exhausted by it. So, yeah, it's great. Don't have anything new really to say about that other than I've tried some of the new things and some of the higher level things, and it's been a lot of fun. Very hard game still. Very difficult, very challenging, very sweaty, but I enjoy it. Yes, Dave.
You're a roadmap guy, Brandon. You appreciate a good roadmap.
Yeah, of course.
Is there a roadmap for Marathon?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. I would imagine there would be. There was recently some balancing updates that I saw, but I don't remember seeing a roadmap. There could be. I wouldn't be surprised if there was one. It's also not been that long since the game came out. Sometimes they put that stuff before launch, but I think that Bungie might be seeing how it was received since it has been so controversial to see how they move forward. If I had to guess, it might already be out. Maybe
Arc
someone in
put
the chat
theirs
can tell
out
me.
in like February.
What's that?
Arc put theirs out in like February. I know it's a different thing, but
Right.
It's a good
But yeah, we'll see. But I'm also playing a game called Papers, Please. It's a game that came out about 10 years ago. It's a game where you play as a border patrol person in Russia. It's not called Russia, but it's Russia in the 1980s. And is very, very, honestly, very dark and very sad. But kind of cool in a way that my mind likes to recognize patterns. I think that has accounted for a lot of how I got through like formal schooling. Is I think I'm better at recognizing patterns than I am learning things. And I guess that's a type of learning, but instead of digesting the information and like actually like being able to understand it and apply it, I think that I'm pretty good at recognizing patterns, and then I can like regurgitate those patterns, if that makes sense, when they need to be applied. Anyway, so you have to go through and check a bunch of paperwork, and it gets pretty dark. There's like terrorist attacks in this game, and like one time there was a guy that I let through. I let him through the border. And he's like, "Hey, my wife's right behind me." And I'm like, I already know what's going to happen. I already know what's going to happen. She ain't getting through. I just know it. And like, I could have let her through, but then I would have been penalized. You know what I mean? And then there's like a guard that comes up to me and says, "Hey, I get a cut when people get detained, I get extra money. So for every couple people you detain, I'm going to give you extra money." And it's all sad because it's set in 1980s Russia. So like I'm taking care of my entire family. And at the end of each day, I have to pump money into food, heating. Everyone keeps getting sick because I don't have enough money to heat my apartment every time.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
Seriously. It's honestly pretty dark when you look at it, at face value. And I think that's the point. A very grim reality in 1980s Russia. But it's such an interesting game and has such a wonderful art style. Really enjoying it, and kind of out of nowhere. I've known about this game for a while, but playing it has been quite a treat. So we'll see if I keep playing it. But last but certainly not least, I've been playing Escape from Duckov. I don't think I've talked about this on the show because I think when I started playing it was when I wasn't here. I've put a lot of time into this game. Let me see. I'm just interested now. Yeah, like 25 hours I've put into this game or so. It's very fucking hard. This game is incredibly difficult. And there are accessibility features that allow you to make it easier. I'm playing on balanced, which is essentially normal. And this game is tough. It's very, very tough. And it's kind of in a juxtaposition to like you're playing as an adorable duck and killing ravens and like other ducks that are coming at you with like knives and stuff. But yeah, super, super awesome. The hype about this was really large when it first came out. And I wanted to kind of check it out. Truthfully, I didn't know much about it going into it. But I got to say, this is an absolute treat. I've made it to the third world. The ramp up in difficulty from the first to the second to the third is massive. In the second world, there is 2 bosses. In the first world, there's 1. And in the third world, it seems like there's a boss at nearly every fucking building in this entire massive town. So very, very difficult. I've put enough time with it that I feel like I'm slowing down a bit just because it's become so difficult that I don't know that I want to sink that much time into it, but I'm not writing it off. It's awesome. This game is phenomenal. And to think that I'm only through like maybe half of the worlds, and how the difficulty continues to ramp up, honestly, I'm not sure. Maybe there is like a plateau, or maybe I'm not really min-maxing what I'm doing correctly or like understanding the combat quite right. But yeah, we'll see. Escape from Duckov deserves all the hype it was getting when it got released. It's fantastic. And I believe it's pretty cheap. I had it on my Steam family with my family members, but um,
It's funny. So do I. That's weird how we
yeah,
both
it's
have
crazy.
families with that game. Yeah.
But yeah, Escape from Duckov is awesome. So it deserves every bit of the hype that it got. Really, really awesome. But
It's not very expensive. I can't remember how much it was, but it wasn't very expensive. It's great. I really like that game too.
yeah, it's fantastic. But that's it. That's it, boys. And I will say honorable mention because I'm just curious if you guys have played this. I'm gonna start to play this. It's also in my family. Is The Fall of Avalon?
I've not played that.
Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. Do you guys know about this?
Yeah, I do know about it. Our buddy Justin was really big on it, and Locke and Brad all really enjoyed it, I think, as well. It's like apparently it's like really bad but really good, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So it has Eurojank. It's from a European developer. I'm
Yeah.
positive it has Eurojank, but
Yeah.
probably in an endearing way. I watched a video about someone who described this game, and it sold me instantly on it. Think of all of the things about Oblivion you really liked, and how that ends up kind of getting watered down with each iteration. But then slap nicer graphics on it, and the infinite amount of sandbox choices that you can make in these games, and like your decisions actually being meaningful, because they stripped some of that away in Skyrim, where you couldn't kill certain NPCs and like end quest lines, and some people don't really like that. They made it more vanilla in that way, but I think that when your decisions are meaningful, you end up having such a fulfilling experience, inversely to what I had mentioned. So yeah, I'm really interested in that. I did download that. I'm probably going to check it out. Our buddy Justin has close to 90 hours on it, so I'm really looking forward to kind of diving deep into this older style RPG that is akin to Skyrim in some ways.
Cool. Davey, you're up.
I put a little bit more time into the Division Resurgence, but not nearly as much as I thought I would. Mostly because the more I played it, the more I just wanted to play Division 2. So that's the other thing I've been playing. But yeah, Division Resurgence is it's going to be fun on the go, and I think I haven't really had a use case for it in the last week, but I will this coming week, where I'm going to be away from home and I'm going to want something to play, and this is going to be the perfect thing because I got the Division itch right now. But I think is, again, what I have played so far as a kind of trimmed down experience for the Division, it's been great for that. And there's been a lot of discourse online about there's a performance mode or fidelity mode that's capped at 30 frames per second, or you can play in PS1 mode at 60 frames per second. And I do notice the frame rate, but I prefer the higher visuals for this, because like even at that fidelity mode, it's pretty ugly. But again, it's a mobile game. It feels good, just like the Division should. So yeah, I'm looking forward to putting more time into it. But yeah. So
I had downloaded it when we talked about it a little while back, and then just finally today I launched it and did the tutorial, but I haven't done anything more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I said, it's just kind of driven me back to Division 2, and I almost bought my first season's pass last night, because those exotic caches sure do look tempting. But yeah, I've been playing around with some new systems that have been introduced to the game over the past several years that I haven't played with. One of which is the oh my god, what is it called? The word's slipping my brain. Anyway, there's this system they've implemented called I can't remember the name of it, but they're the four major enemy factions, and the more activities you do in the open world against the retaliation, that's what it's called. The more open world activities you do and against, like, let's say the True Sons as example, the more their retaliation meter fills, and when it fills up all the way, you can initiate a retaliation with that faction. What happens is they will then invade a certain zone in the world, and you have like a 7 minute timer to go and clear out every single one of the control points, and there's usually three or four in a region of the map. And the more control points that you retake from them, the harder it gets, and the more like kill squads that you'll find from the True Sons out in the open world. And it's just really intense, and having that clock there really kind of adds like anxiety in a good way. But yeah, it was cool because like capturing control points is something you do 100 times in the Division 2, but it took like a very familiar activity and changed it enough to make it really cool. And also you get really good chances at good exotic drops from these retaliation missions. So all in all, I think you could probably get in a retaliation in like an hour. So it's a nice way to kind of grind out some season XP and some shade XP. So yeah, as I said a few weeks ago when I got back in the Division 2, like the cool thing about going back to a live service game like this after many years is just kind of checking out all the cool new stuff that the developers have added into the game, and it's kind of like playing a whole new game on top of a game you already love. So yeah, maybe I'll get the seasons pass. I don't know. It's only like $13, but yeah, so that's Division 2. And sorry, Ben, we can't play together yet because
I
they
know.
haven't actually added crossplay in. It's supposed to come sometime soon, but it's not there yet. So
Yeah, I've been thinking about hopping in. I'd really prefer to hop in with you. The three of us, as a matter of fact, would be great. But
Yeah. I bought it.
yeah, the fact that we can't play it yet together, Dave, is so dumb.
yeah,
It's an old game at this point.
yeah, she's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah.
Last thing is the Ascent. I finished the platinum on this. I feel pretty good. I picked this up several months ago for like $8. As a reminder, I already finished this game. It was the first game I got on my Series S, and when it came to PlayStation, I knew I wanted that platinum in my trophy cabinet. So, platinum number 12, Platties poppin', panties droppin' is the Ascent. So, if I had to grade, so this game is 10 out of 10 for me. It's one of my favorite games of all time. But if I had to rate the Platinum Journey, it'd probably be like a 7 out of 10. Mostly because the side missions in this game suck balls. Like it's very talk to a quest giver, go to a place, interact with something, mission complete. Or, go and kill a mob, mission complete. And I don't have high expectations for side content. I'm not expecting brand new gameplay mechanics or secret enemies or anything like that, but just something like to add and make me want to engage with side content. And Ascent really missed the mark on this, and one of the reasons too is the Ascent is a really weird traveling system. So the game is all about this arcology, and it's based on levels. So you have the deep stink, which is the lowest level, and you have the pinnacle, which is at the top, and there's 2 levels in between. But you can't actually fast travel between levels. You have to fast travel to an elevator, that's a load screen, and then you have to get on the elevator to the next level, that's a load screen, and then you have to fast travel to your destination, that's another load screen. Game isn't super well optimized, so the load times aren't great. And so many of the side missions where like the quest giver would be on level 1 and the objective would be on level 3. So it's just like it couldn't be in the same spot. So a lot of that shit I had to do, and that was really annoying. The other trophy that I was worried about was the die 100 times trophy. So update on that. I knocked it out in less than 30 minutes. I found a good spot where I could spawn in. There was like a mob there. I respect myself to have no skill points, took off all my armor, and just died a bunch of times. I had to kill myself 56 times. in order to
Jesus.
pull out the trophy. So I had died 40-something times in the game. But again, it only took about 20, 30 minutes, so it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. But yeah, I got the platinum. I'm happy, and I'm moving on from that. So
Nice.
that's it.
You've spoken so highly about the Ascent. I feel like I did play it for a very small amount of time when it came out, and then I never went back to it. But I generally respect your opinion on games, Dave. Even if they're not my thing, I know they're at least quality. So you have me itching to go back to it. I'm not going to go for the platinum or anything similar to it.
Just
But
please, I know you always play with good headphones, but if you're gonna play this game, turn the fucking volume up, put on really good headphones, and enjoy the ride.
nice.
It's audio is the music in this game is half the experience. So
Good to know.
I had boss battles where I didn't need to die, but I looked forward to dying so I could do the fight again, so I could hear the music. It's just that good. So
Nice. For me, I've picked up DRG Survivor recently. Again, I haven't really touched it much since it came out into 1.0 from early access. And so I've just been kind of dabbling around with it a little bit. Excuse me. I think I'm just excited for the new DRG game coming out shortly. So I don't know, just a little bit of an itch. Nothing there to report on other than that they've added some really cool stuff. Some of the levels that I played before, they redid some of the stuff in them, and they're way harder now. So having a good time as always with that game. It's a very easy pick up and play a run and put it down and don't think about it again for a couple days kind of game for me. Although it's also addictive, so sometimes I can't just move on to the next run. Scritchy Scratchy. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think I mentioned it again last week. I finished it this week. I don't know how much more there is to elaborate on it. I mean, I still have some trophies that I could go in and do if I wanted to, but it's really interesting how this game continues to like throw new things at you, and by new things I mean new scratch off tickets, and then it throws a different type of machine that can do something differently, or a new mechanic that like you can turn in some of your you can pay to make more souls, and if you make more souls, then you have more chances at the final chance ticket. There's a little bit of a story mind game going on with it once you get to the last ticket on whether or not you on what you do with it, and so that's kind of fun. But overall, it's just it kind of turns into an idle game at a certain point. The thing I found really interesting was one time I was just like not really paying attention, and I just fed a bunch of tickets into my machine to let it scratch and reveal them and everything, and it totally like irreversibly bankrupted me, and I thought I'm never going to be able to get back to where I was. And then within like 3 minutes I was back to where I was because of just how the systems scale and everything. It takes so long to get there the first time, and then you get there very quickly. So Scritchy Scratchy is fun if you want a mindless stupid game that's almost an idle game but not quite. And I say stupid in the most endearing way. You guys know how I feel about stupid games. Speaking of, Recoin is another stupid game that I love that I've been playing. Recoin is a coin pusher simulator game where you, I think it's called Recoin because there's a lot of raccoons in it. I don't really know if there's any other reason. But your goal is to use this coin pusher to earn a bunch of tickets, and then you earn more tickets and you get to the next level, and then you unlock cool new coins that you can throw in there and mix it up a bit. And they all have weird different things they do. One coin is like a bunny, and if you have two bunnies, they jump together and create a different type of coin. And there's grass coins that you can water with other water coins, and a lot of weird stuff going on. It's very much roguelike kind of thing as well. The biggest controls in the game are left click and right click, so you can choose where to put the coin in. It's a bizarre little experiment through a video game. I'm only on the first machine still. I think I've played through like, I don't know, 6 or 7 times now and have a few different characters unlocked, but there's a lot of stuff to unlock here, much like many of these roguelike gambling type games. I realized the other day I've been playing a lot of roguelike. It's essentially a roguelike deck builder when it really comes down to it. It's a little more nuanced than that, but if you have a desire to play a coin pusher game and you don't want to gamble with your real money, this is good because I'm cheap and it's fun. Continuing to use that strategy and add to it is great as well. And then the last stupid little simulator game. I play so many of these things that it's hard to tell what I'm talking about. But Power Wash Simulator 2, the Adventure Time DLC, comes out tomorrow. And because I reviewed the base game, they were kind enough to send me over the DLC ahead of time. I am not like a big Adventure Time fan. And not to say I don't like it, I just never super got into it. But my youngest son is a gigantic Adventure Time guy. Like, he has not only watched the whole show multiple times, he's read like every book and all the spinoffs and everything like that. So I've been exposed to a lot of it just through like osmosis, I guess you could say. I've watched some of it on my own too, but not nearly as much as you need to fully be a fan of the series. But I am a Power Wash Simulator fan. It is a really good Power Wash Simulator DLC. They've also done some things with integrating Adventure Time. Of course, every level that they've added has like the unique Adventure Time flair. A lot of little Easter eggs that even I recognized as someone not familiar with the series. I recognize a lot of them. But they've also turned everything into like Adventure Time themed stuff. The scissor lift that takes you up and down is no longer just a scissor lift. It's one of the characters turned into a scissor lift. And the power washers that you use are completely different shapes now. They look, they're still functioning the same, but they look like things from the show. So I'm not 100% familiar with a lot of the different names of things and characters in Adventure Time, but I can tell you that the different dynamics that it adds to the base game, if you're at all a fan of Power Wash Simulator, you're going to enjoy them. And if you're a fan of Adventure Time, I assume you're going to enjoy them even more. So very much enjoyed that. Probably took me, 2 or 3 hours to get through the additional levels there, which is pretty great for a game that originally only took me, well, I say only, but the base game took me like 25 hours. So for another 2-3 hours of content, I think it's going to be $7 or $8 if I recall correctly. It's pretty good in my opinion for what the game is. And Power Wash Simulator did so many of these DLCs, and the fact that they're able to, for the first game, the fact they're able to get like bigger properties involved and show them off is kind of cool. But even not being a big fan of the property, not hating it, but not being a big fan, I still found a lot to like about it from a gameplay and Adventure Time perspective. So that's it for me.
I have one more thing, and I think you might have something to add to this, Ben. I finally watched the Super Mario movie, the first one, with my wife. It was very good. Lots of references. She didn't get most of them, but she still enjoyed it, which is the sign of a good movie. My favorite reference in the movie was early in the movie when Luigi's phone rings. It's the GameCube tone of the GameCube starting up, so that was my favorite one. Ben, I think you saw the sequel.
Yeah, I took the kids to see the new Super Mario movie on Monday. It was, and it's the first one was a good movie. My wife enjoyed it. She doesn't hate video games, but she doesn't really care about them. And the second one, I was like, I'm gonna take the boys to see the movie. I'm off work on Monday, and she's like, cool, I'm going too. I want to see it too. So like that's how I knew it was, because she never wants to go to the theater. She prefers to watch movies at home. And it's also a video game movie, so I didn't know if she'd be interested, but it was good. I think that my personal preference, I like the first one more because everybody loves an origin story. It was more pure. I think this one was just as good of a movie. I just think that maybe it didn't appeal to me as strongly. There are some really cool Easter eggs in it. There are some cool characters that I didn't expect to be in there. I haven't watched any of the marketing or trailers for them, so I don't know what's a spoiler and what's not, but if you're a fan of old school video games or Nintendo properties in general, I think you'll like it at the very least and love it at best. So, yeah, good call out, Dave. Radic wants to know, Dave, did you like the scene in the first Mario movie where Mario has a panic attack?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it too. It was okay.
You saw the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't think it was as good as the first one. I thought the second one was lightning quick. They didn't linger on a single thing for more than a couple moments. I think they're really capitalizing on the shortening attention spans of children. nowadays by
And
just
adults. Yeah.
blazing through the entire story. Even the very end, I thought there was going to be a little bit of disposition, and it just like the credits just boom, like literally every single bit of, and it was good.
Yeah.
This is a negative, but I still did enjoy it mostly, not as much as the first one.
Yeah.
But everything in that movie is like boom, 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 like way more so, way more so, way more than the first one, way more than the first one. So that was my complaint, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Cool. All right.
That's it.
Anything else? All right. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Don't forget about Patreon and Discord, and don't forget about us. We won't forget about you. I already forgot about you guys. Have a good night.
Bye.